Hey up YouTubers, Simon B here. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're all keeping safe out there. In the garage doing a little job this morning. I thought I'd bring you guys and girls along. A few weeks ago when I changed the tyres on the KTM 690, I found out that the rim lock was slightly damaged. And I always wonder when it was damaged and the person who put the tyres on the bike didn't change that time. When I changed the tyres, I didn't have one of these, so I bought one of these. So I'm going to change this rim lock, and the video is going to entail really how to change the tyre as well. So this is a tube tyre, not a mousse in it. So if you fancy knowing how to change a rim lock, put a new tyre on your dirt bike, fixing a puncture, taking the tube out, as they say, stick around and stay tuned.
Like and subscribe.
So yeah, this is the tyre off the KTM 690, and the good thing about these 690s in that they have a crush drive in. So because they have a crush drive, you can take the sprocket out, and you don't need a stand to change these tyres, because sometimes you can be putting some weight against the sprocket or put it against the disc, which you don't really want to do. So some people like stands to put them in so that it keeps them off the floor, but with this you can take the sprocket caddy out and take all the rubbers out. Might as well take them out because they're going to fall out anyway. So you don't need loads of tools to take the tyre off your motorcycle. A couple of decent tyre irons, tyre levers. These are Motion Pro. These are the large ones. They do a smaller pair, which I'm thinking of getting so you can take with you. But these are great for in the garage. A couple of spanners to take the rim lock off and the nut off for the inner tube. Valve stem remover. A bit of tyre lube. That's about it really. So yeah, first things first. Let's loosen the rim lock that's already on the bike. Sometimes with these, if they've never been taken off for a long time, you might just need a little bit of WD-40 or GT85 or something on them. That's all you need. Valve cap off, put it in a place where you know where it's going to be, and then we're going to take the valve stem out. We're in a safe place as well. You might as well take the nut off the inner tube now, because it's going to come off anyway. So it's easy to do it now. This hasn't been on so long, so these two allow you to be able to take there's a bead breaker. They have a fork and on the top, which allows you to break the bead. Sometimes you don't really need to. That's how easy it can be. I'll just flip them over, make sure we'll do it that side as well. It doesn't usually take much to break a bead. You don't need masses of equipment. So beads broke on all sides. People say start at the rim lock and do different things, or you know, from, to and near. Start whatever you want. The easiest thing I've found is you get a feeling of how far apart to put your tyre irons so the tyre will come off the rim and stop off the rim, such as what we've just done there. It's around about what's that, 7 inch. So take them off now. All the way around. It's usually around by the rim lock, it's the hardest. So that's one side off. Now there's various different ways now you can do this. What I'm going to do now is to take the opposite side off, and then I'll show you why that you can bring it off this way. You can do all sorts of different ways, but this is the way I do. So now we've switched, we've turned it over. So we'll do the same on this side. It's going to be even easier. I have a third lever which comes in handy. It's just a little short one really, and it's just handy for the opposite side, so you're not manhandling big 16-inch tyre levers. So this tyre's been on here, it's been on here now, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, something like that. So yeah, so now as you can see we've taken both off. The rim itself has fallen inside the tyre. So all we need to do now, hopefully, we're going to take the tyre off complete with the inner tube. Try not to nip it, which we don't want to do. You might need 2 tyre irons for this one. There we go. Just need it in that position, and then it there we go. There we go. Just like that. So get rid of the tyre at the moment. All we're interested in is the rim. So that's the offending article compared to there's the old one and there's the new one. So I don't know why nobody really changed it the last time, because it's about knacked. And there's nothing worse of having your tyre slip, which is no good. So one of the things to check if you're doing a bit of green laning is just check your rims, make sure they're clean. If you've been going through a lot of water, a lot of mud and stuff, you'd get this caked up. Tape to stop your inner tube getting damaged. I did this last time, put a bit of gaffer tape, grey gaffer tape on it, as you can see there. It just gives you a bit of a protection of the layer. I'm going to put mousses in this. I haven't yet, but I am going to. So these inner tubes are going to be a thing of the past for this bike. So yeah, just check the inside, make sure everything's fine, everything's clean. If it is dirty, just clean it. Soapy water, brush everything, renew the tape, and you're good to go. So that just goes on, washer goes on, and we'll just put that large nut on a couple of threads. We don't need to put any more on it. So yeah, let's so if you're in that position now, you've taken the the old tyre off, you're going to put a new tyre back on it. So we imagine that this is a new tyre now. New tyres are a little bit easier to take off than they are to put on. What we're going to do is, so I'm just going to brush a bit of tyre lube onto this side tyre, because this is the way we're going to put it on. Now, various ways of doing this now. This is the way I've done it. Hello, Arthur. Give his hand. So we're in a position now to put the valve back into the inner tube, because we're going to put a little bit of air back into it now in a sec. So that just screws in there hand tight. So now we're in this position. What we're going to do, I'm going to pull the inner tube out of the tyre. It's a little bit fiddly. I'll do it slightly. And we're going to take it and poke it through the hole of where it's supposed to go, and then put the valve nut on it. I need to put the nut on it as far enough, because I need to put some air into it now. Lube all over my hands now. I know, the lucky one. So once that's in, what we do, I have these Makita portable compressors. You can use all sorts of different things. You can buy all sorts. Great for doing loud things like this. So we're going to put a little bit of air in that. It's people say, well, how much? Well, just enough to take up some space for it to sit into the tyre. You know, we're not putting 30 bars of pressure in it. That's all you need. That's all you need to do. So we've got the inner tube in. So what we're going to do now is to put this tyre onto the rim, this side. It can get a little bit awkward. Once you've done a few and you get the technique, it's a couple of weeks since I've done one of these, so you sort of forget. Don't try and do masses of rubber in, because you'll end up doing something to the rim. So that's now the tyre half on. We're still working on the side where we took the sprocket off, so we're not damaging anything. Like I say, you can buy one of those Rabaconda, great things if you're doing hundreds of them, but if you're only doing them what, once every blue moon, you don't really need them, and they're a lot of money. I'd love one, but as you can see, it's not that hard to do. It's a little bit tricky, a bit of technique really. And once you've done them a couple of times, it does get easier. So the tyre's now half on the rim. We've got the air in the inner tube. The inner tube's square. Rim lock's in. Rim lock's one of the hardest, well, not the hardest thing. Just remembered. So what you need to do now, just on this, I don't know if you'll better see that, the rim lock there, the tyre's not on the right side of the rim lock. So if you lift that up and press the rim lock in and get the tyre under the rim lock, then you don't have to fight it. You don't have to fight it when we do the other side. So before you start putting the tyre on, get the rim lock inside the tyre so it's loose like that, and it'll be dead easy. It'll be easier. You'll be trying to put the rim lock on both sides basically, and it's not easy. So same again, we'll start somewhere round near the rim lock, because if you do, the rim lock can sometimes help, similar to the tool that I'm going to put in now, which is one of these bead buddies. I don't know which one this one is. It's they all work relatively the same, and while you're putting your tyre on, it just holds one side of the tyre and we can work this way around while that won't come out of the rim. So we've already put the rim lock in, so the tyre's on the right side of the rim lock. So now all we need to do is basically run around and put the tyre on. You only really need one tyre lever to do this. You just get it on the inside of the rim. You can feel it. This, like I say, they have they're shaped, and you can feel that as it just goes on the rim. And you need to just get it in, push it in, and just bring it out. Just get it on the rim. Small little steps. As you can see now, we've only got this bit. Don't try and go in the middle of there. You can try and go in the middle of there. It's too much. But as you're kneeling on this side, you're pushing the tyre into the inner rim, which makes it longer that way, so it makes it easy to put the tyre on. And last little bit, take your bead buddy out, or whatever it's called, have a wipe round. There's a point for you to show you this. When we get the air back into this valve, that nut, you don't put it all the way into or onto the rim. The reason for it is that if your rim lock's not working, and there's a possibility your tyre has moved, you can see every time you lube your chain, every time before you go out, you can see if your tube is still pointing straight. If it's pointing straight, everything's fine. If it's off to an angle, something's moved. You need to take the air out of the tyre, break the rim, and straighten it back up again, because if it goes again, it's going to rip your tube. So I'll show you when we're finished. This nut does not get put all the way down to the rim for that reason, and it allows you to be able to see. That's only there just to hold the cap on, really. People think you've got to wind that all the way down, but on a dirt bike, people will disagree with me. That's what it's for. Valve straight. Our rim lock is inside the tyre, and all we want now is a bit of air. The bead just wasn't coming up onto the rim there. I've got about 12 psi in it at the moment. I'm going to put about 30 in it, but then let it down. And the reason I'm going to put 30 into it, because with the tube being in, I'm going to run it up so the tyre's on the bead. So that's 30 psi in the tyre. Just run your finger around and make sure that the tyre has come up onto the bead, or the bead of the tyre has come onto the bead of the rim, and it's sitting properly. Check both sides. Yeah. If it doesn't, what you can do is just give it a bit of a bump, and it usually will pull out. Sometimes we had one, I did one last year, and it was a wider tyre. It was the widest that would probably go on the wheel, and I had to put about 60 psi in it to get it to bump up. So, but if you put the right size tyre, on the right size rim, you shouldn't have a problem. So that's got 30 psi into it now. Whilst you've got it off, do your safety checks on it. Run your span around. Make sure all your spokes are tight, and there's no problems there. Also, have a check of your bearings and make sure that they're running freely, and there's no worries and there's no problems in that department. Clean off the residue tyre lube, and what we'll do now is just tighten this rim lock up. Same again, don't have to be awesomely tight, but it has to be tight just to stop that wheel from running back. As we talked about before, let's see that now. This valve, that nut will probably stay round about there. It doesn't need to go any further, and then what we'll do is wind that up against it. So then if this wheel moves, that valve will no longer be straight, it'll be angled. Then you'll be able to save your tube from ripping the valve out, because that's what happens if that fails or doesn't do its job correctly, or you have too much power on your right hand. So that's why that's going to stop. So everything's on the rim, everything's fine, everything's looking okay. So I'm going to put check the air out of it now, and I'm running mine. Will it focus? Will it focus? And I'm running mine about 15 psi on the back. Put your crush drive back in, and that's ready to go back on the bike. Easy as that. Dead easy, innit? You too can do this at home. If you don't try, you'll never know. I remember the first one I ever did about 3 years ago. I got all my gear, all my stuff, and I had a couple of sleepless nights thinking, oh, what happens? But once you do your first one, your second one, third one, it is dead easy. You don't really need a Rabaconda, 3,500 quid. Nice, you can buy 3 sets of tyres for this bike for that. So a stand sometimes could come in handy, one of those things that you put the rim on it. But then if you have one of them, you can't get on a kneel on it, so you can't put much pressure on it. So put a bit of carpet down just to protect them. But I prefer doing it on the floor. Tyre changing, that is. So there you go, YouTubers, how to change a tyre on a dirt bike. Dead easy, isn't it? Like I say, we changed the rim lock because it was knacked. So it's basically the same. So we took the tyre off, we put the tyre back on, inflated it back up, done all the things that you would do if you were taking an old tyre off to put a new one back on it again. So yeah, if you enjoyed that video, don't forget, give it a big thumbs up, thanks very much. If you just joined us, don't forget, go on, click that subscribe button, ring that bell. Every time I upload a video, you will get a notification. So anyway, if you did watch this video and you've watched it to the end, thanks very much, because a lot of people don't. Like I said on a video once, I should start doing £1 million prizes at the end, answer the question, see how many people will win. Nobody will. If you have watched it, just comment down below. Thanks, Si, great video, thanks for sharing, gets the algorithms going, gets us showing. We're up to over 3,000 odd subscribers now. Thanks very much to all you people that have subscribed. It's great, honouring, humble, whatever, you know, you keep watching this drivel. But this is stuff that you guys and girls can do. It's easy, it's not hard. People think it's hard and it's difficult, but it's not. It just takes a little bit of time, a little bit of thinking about, and just have a go. Have a go yourself. If you get into a problem, then, you know, ask for help. If you're riding out there at the moment, ride safe, be safe and keep safe. And as they say, thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.
Like and subscribe.